A surprise large-scale attack by the Palestinian militant group Hamas on Saturday. Prime Minister Netanyahu has now vowed to reduce the Hamas group's Gaza hideouts to rubble. The escalation follows months of rising violence, mostly in the West Bank, and tensions around Gaza's border and also at contested holy sites in Jerusalem. Gaza officials said that the intense airstrikes on the coastal enclave brought the Palestinian death toll to at least 232, with nearly 1,700 injured, following Hamas group's massive rocket barrage and ground, air and sea offensive on Saturday. The gun battles raged into the night between Israeli forces and hundreds of Hamas fighters in at least 22 Israeli locations, including at least 2 where gunmen were holding hostages. More than 1,000 people in Israel were wounded by gunshots, or more than 3,000 incoming rockets as well. Hamas launched its multi-pronged attack at dawn, half a century after the outbreak of the 1973 Arab-Israel War. The Israeli Prime Minister said, Benjamin Netanyahu said, and I'm quoting him here, and telling the people of Gaza, get out of there now, because we are about to act everywhere with all our force. Netanyahu added, we'll strike them to the bitter end and avenge with force this black day they brought on Israel and its people. Now, as the UN Security Council called an emergency meeting, US President Joe Biden, in an impromptu speech, voiced rock-solid and unwavering support for the US ally. Biden warned against any other party hostile to Israel seeking advantage in this very situation. Not only him, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken also spoke to Egypt, a key intermediary between Israel and Hamas, about the urgency in achieving an immediate halt to the fighting. And as night fell, the Israeli army said its forces were still engaged in live gun battles in a string of Israel locations in an operation labeled Swords of Iron. The Israeli army launched airstrikes into Gaza later in the night while militants fired rockets. Hamas earlier released images of several Israelis taken captive, as you can see on your screens right now. An army spokesperson confirmed that the soldiers and civilians had been